and welcome again to Jeff Walker Books. It's been a while since I've done a recording, and what has been up with me lately? Well, let me just tell you. I've started work on the Professor Dark and His Shadow book again, and their full novel. And what else? Well, I've launched the final chapter of Outer Red, and it's due out soon. At the End of the Will, Outer Red Part 4. This is the finale of Book 1. It's from 4 parts. I started the first part back in 2011, I believe. So this has been a long time coming. And why did I break them up into parts? Well, it was essentially a hard novel to write about. And essentially, it wasn't a novel to begin with. It was just the beginning of a short story, which then I published on Amazon. And when it reached number 1, as soon as it was launched, it was like, oof, great. And then it kind of dipped down after that. But it had great reviews. It was a learning lesson, that's for sure. A lot of changes had to be made, some expansion in the audio section when I made the audiobook for it. And and then I launched number 2, the Pegs, and that I thought that would do better, but I guess the way that I marketed the book, it didn't work the way I thought it would, or the interest wasn't there. And I think what happened was that I was targeting the wrong people. I should have been targeting the ones that had read the book, the first one. I read the first part, and had them read that one. I mean, there have been some reviews on there, and they've been generally favorable, but not so much on Amazon. It's like Amazon was blocking any kind of reviewers, or maybe there just wasn't any to be had. I was learning still on how to get the reviews on there. And then part 3, The Last of the Riding Hoods, came out, and that again, I put that book out. It had some generally good reviews for that. But really, it just, I wish I had had more fanfare, I would say. And I remember somebody commenting that they don't like reading parts of books, that they want the whole thing. And I said, well, short story books are actually doing well. So at the time when I launched it, that was the pandemic. So it didn't do so well because, I guess I didn't advertise it the way I should. And that's the thing. It's like advertising budgets, I didn't have any. I was struggling just with everybody else. So when I finished this book and I launched it, I just thought, what the hey, I'll launch it. It's the finale of that. And so now all 4 parts are completely done. I encourage people to go and read all 4 parts. I launched a published book, a print book, of the combined 1 and 2. Now, I might do the same for 3 and 4, only to complete that whole thing, or maybe I'll just, put it all in one book. But for the time being, I've launched this one as a separate part, mainly because I want to get the exposure for it, and I want people to fall back and read the stories from before. Eventually, I'll combine them all into one book, but it's not going to be for this year anyway. And I know there are people out there who'd rather take the book, as a whole, and you're more than welcome to. I just want you to come on, give me a review for my book titles. reviews have been slow. It's been slow for most people across the author board here. Lots of reviews have not been getting in, but more, I would say the traditional publishers, considering how I'm self-published, the traditional publishers have been getting a lot of reviews. They've been buying them. And I find that apprehensible that they would push self-publishers out of the way with their own. And I wish I could say it's a fair system, but it's not. It really isn't. Am I cynical? Probably. Mainly because the reviews don't come as often as I'd like. And I've seen some self-publisher books out there getting the reviews, and I guess they paid a lot of services to do it. And I get that. I like to do it word of mouth wise, and generally just, read my book and tell me what you think. That's all I ask. I got to stop bitching about it. It's probably one thing I got to do. It's hard because, you put out a lot of effort into it. You don't get that many reviews. You kind of go, I guess my book sucks, kind of like thing. But I've had a lot of people say, no, it's awesome. Those that, have left the review or read it, The Long Lost War, I've had nothing but favorable reviews for that one. And it was a short book. And one guy says, I don't really read short books like this, but he read it. And he loved it. He thought it was a great book. Even the Massive Planet had a great review. They thought the characters were great. And I had an Amazon Top 500 reviewer give it 5 stars. She thought it was great. She loved the personalities, the whole story. It was good. I mean, I can't help the way the book is written. I wrote it as it was intended. Short, long, wherever. Professor Dark and Miss Shadow's new book, it's going to be a long book. And I'm already into chapter 20 already. And to me, this is long. I'm past the point of 50,000 words for this book. I think I'm into 67,000 right now. So it's still going because I haven't really gotten to the meat and potatoes of the story arc yet. Now, that might change once the editing happens. It may get cut down even more. But I essentially write the novels as they were intended. I write books as the way they're intended in my mind. I don't like enjoying stuffing novels or books with fluff, needless fluff, as I call it. That kind of stuff that you just, ruins the book, where you get in this tedium of details and backstories and maybe I'll do it, I don't know, but I mean, the way I do it and the way somebody else does it is totally different. I mean, when you read some Star Wars novels, for the most part, generally they're good, and most of the time they're just plain awful. The High Republic being one of them. I mean, I've never read a book with so much crammed nonsense in there. I think science fiction should not be full of these filler pages of useless data that you just sit there and you go, oh God, get to the story. It doesn't matter what kind of feeling he was having that day or where the sun was the minute he looked up, or there's a reason why people like books short, and it's become a trend. The shorter the book, the better. The longer the book, obviously it's epic. They want epic fantasy worlds, that kind of thing. I can understand fantasy worlds. You want to get a sense of the world. You want to get a sense of where they are. When you're in science fiction, you can get into that sort of criteria. But if you're writing an action book, you need to learn to control the amount of exposition and just the details. They complain that too many writers shove in too much and don't give the reader any credit, as in to fill in the gap with their mind, as like they have to explain every little tedium thing as if they won't understand. The reader is using their imagination as they're going on with the story. There's enough out there to fill their minds with stuff. I mean, if they're an avid reader, they're going to know, what space looks like. Well, you don't have to sit there and describe space and at volumes. You might give a little sense of what it's like out there, but I mean, you don't want to go too long into it, like a whole entire chapter, and just because that's just going to kill it. And people like to get to the point, and maybe that's why some of the books don't do as well. I know I've looked at some of my competitor books, and for the most part they're good ideas, and sometimes they're just they're not good. I don't know. Maybe that's just every writer's got their own opinion of things. But I'm not gonna say that all of them are bad, but because they're not. I mean, I like other authors' ideas and perspectives. I've read some of the comments, positive, negatives. Some of them are just generally nitpicking. The one thing I can't stand is the criticism of the punctuations or the errors that occur. And it's like, okay, but what did you think of the story itself, and not so much the one grammatical error you found that you've got to point out to everybody as if, they've got mustard on their shirt or something. Yeah, I just, I don't approve of that. So anyway, I'm getting off topic again. Yeah, like I said, it's been a long time since I got been on here. I had a sense of what I was going to talk about. I don't know. Like I said, I like keeping it. I don't have a whole lot of topics, just because I'm not sure what to generally just talk about other than my books, which is what this platform is really made for me talking about my books. So, in that sense, I've been telling you about the Outer Red completion, Commander Red Huntsman and her AI companion Grim. They're finally, in the thralls of the end, and I've made more action in the ending, which was my grand intent all along. One, Off the Given Path was the setup. Two, The Three Little Pegs was a general continuation of her mission. Three, The Last of the Riding Hoods, was sort of like a kind of a backstory and more of the adventure in one. And then 4 is the finale of the mission and of the confrontation, and just Red realizing who she is, and what she wants. It's funny to me because this book is generally all women. And I think it's funny. Well, not women. I mean, there's little girls. But I mean, it's an all-female book to be other than Grimm and a few other characters. But for the general sense, I think it's really hold up well. I didn't try to belittle the female role. I didn't try to make Red any less weak. At least I don't think so. She sounds strong. She sounds like she's, in charge. And that's what I wanted. I wanted, like, even though I'm a man, it doesn't really matter. I mean, it's if the character's good and you want to have the character in the best light possible, then that's how it should be. I mean, I don't pander to anybody. I mean, I don't like. I know there's this thing about the wokeness and all this backlash against male men in general, and it's a touchy subject because it's hard to be a man and be criticized. And but I mean, I'll take it because there are some rightful complaints, and we should respect the women's role. And I don't see the need for anybody to be put under. I mean, behind every great man, there's a woman. Behind every strong woman, there's a man with her. I think that's there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, it's been the story since the dawn of time. Men and women have always relied on each other, and to sit there and criticize one for the other, it doesn't make any sense to me. I think as men and women, we should be going together as a pair. Like, I don't understand all this hate. Generally, I think a lot of the social media has poisoned our thoughts of who we are and where we're going. And it's proven because Facebook was like, tampering with emotions of people, like clicking on things. And if you didn't think that, well, how could you not? Like all the people that are trying to bully other people online is just ridiculous. I don't understand, and I don't want to understand. I think, if anything, we should encourage each other and leave the hate behind. And I know that there's been stuff that's been coming out about injustice in total, about Native Americans, or Indigenous as they like to be called, but I mean, it's the way of the world, and we know what the world's been doing to itself. Climate change, all this stuff, and we've been all like sitting there poo-pooing it, and it's like, no, it's been happening. Even science fiction writers have been like writing this stuff for years about what's been coming, about all the pasts that have come to haunt us again. And I for one think it's time that we grow the fuck up. I mean, really, we should. It's time to like stop living with blinders on. We're not in that century anymore of, let that be the way it is. No. Obviously, we need to keep going forward, but we don't need to bash each other doing it. If anything, it should be more understanding. That's what I feel. I feel like there should be more understanding of cultures, of faiths, of personal beliefs, but not to overly criticize one for the other. I think it should be just understanding of all sides, and just, allowing that person or persons to live the way they think that they should, and not try to overpower another for their own, just to, overpower that person, to be honest. I mean, the rich have done it for so long, and now it's coming to bite them in the ass, to be honest with you. I mean, you can see how money and privilege has really downgraded this planet to nothing. And I'm not encouraging a sense of I don't know why the Americans call it communism, but I mean socialism isn't a dirty word, and there's a way to do it without making it sound like it's evil. It's not evil. It's a way to share with other people. And I know Americans are going to be like, you can't have that. You got to have capitalism. Yeah, capitalism has destroyed this planet. Let me put it that way. The banging, anything for a buck, or the me. It's all about me, and that's Trump. Trump's all about me. The world revolves around him and nobody else. And you get a lot of people like that, and that's got to stop, because you're stepping on another person's corpse just to improve yourself. I don't think so. We have to work together. Like, nobody seems to get it. We are all one of this planet. We're all one species of human. Like, we're here together. We have to work together. We have to live together. And now Elon Musk wants to go live on Mars or on the moon. Meanwhile, there's people starving. There's medicines that need... and I'm not against progress of a sort, but I'm more into why don't we try to help ourselves first before we start heading off into the great yonder. And I think that was the vision of all science fiction authors. They want us to heal ourselves before we head off and try to fix a galaxy. Oh my gosh. But like I said, it's the way of the world. And I can only see that this world is just going to continue on being the way it is. And it's a sad truth. And I wish it isn't. But we are pretty much destroying ourselves. And it's sad to see that's how it's going about. But anyway, I've gone off topic again. I do enjoy writing these stories. So Outer Red's done for now. I will get back to it when there's an interest for it. I put it out there. It's an audiobook of the Last of the Riding Hoods. I'm hoping that somebody gives it some reviews and give me a sense of how they enjoyed that version. It was a lot different doing the audiobook because it was... I trusted a company that gave it sound and more... I guess another couple of people doing the voices, and I just need to know if that's better, worse, kind of like thing. But most of my stories have been, I've been happy with them. So I'm hoping I get more reviews to help me along, because the only way I'll know what's working, what's not working, is people talking to me about it, or people giving me a review or a comment or a like, kind of like thing. It's I know authors are greedy when it comes to, I want to hear what you think. I'll keep writing. I don't, even if the books just go out there and drift away into endless space, somebody's bound to read it. And I hope they do leave a comment. That'd be nice. But generally, yeah, I'll have to remind myself to stay on topic, pick a topic. But for now, I just wanted to let you know where I was. I'm working on several stories at once. I've been very busy at my real job, and it's been taking a toll on my body. A lot of physical work, so if I don't seem to crank out books as much, or if I don't, make radio podcasts like this for a while, it's probably because I'm just so busy. But I've been working on some stuff. I've got stuff out in Wattpad and Inkit. I've started things. And I've committed myself to a lot of stuff. So hopefully, by next year, I'll have a couple more books to push out. I'm trying to get back into Professor Dark and Miss Shadow, and just give them their full due in that book. And I might take a break from that because it's been hard to get back into that one. But I'd love to write more. A full novel is harder for me. I wrote Your Service is Required, and that took a toll on me because that was the first full book I ever wrote, full novel, and that is a novel. I had somebody say that. Well, that was that was a novel. It's technically a novel. It falls in the realm of a novel. And but yeah, when I'm done Professor Dark and Miss Shadow, I might just let that do its thing. I do enjoy writing shorter stories for them. So maybe I'll do a full novel, and then eventually I'll do like a collection of short stories again. I don't see why that's such a big deal. Why everything has to be a novel. And because, I mean, when you think of like the guy who wrote Conan, he wrote tons of shorter stories. A few books here and there, but he pretty much just wrote shorter stories, which is fine. I don't know why everybody's so against them, especially in this day and age when you want a quick read. Now you've got the Kindle. What is it? The Kindle short program thing that's only in the U.S. right now, where it's like a micro story. And I think they got that from Wattpad, like little short Kindle stories. And I was like, okay, so I guess as social media, you can read it. So, and it's quick. And like I said, that's the generation. They want a fast read. And I know there's authors out there who enjoy more of an in-depth novel, that kind of thing. And well, now we're all cranking out books big time. And it's becoming harder and harder and harder to get noticed in a sea of people that are launching out books left, right, and center. But self-published people are having the worst time right now because traditional publishers are trying to push us out. They're trying to pretty much shove us aside because traditional publishers tend to laugh at us. And it's just like, why? We're writing, that's what we're doing. But then they say, yes, but you're not a real writer. And it's like, well, yes, we are. We're publishing a book. And they don't like that. And I think Amazon is trying to start to side with traditional publishers because I've seen more traditional publishers get the more... there was a time when self-publishing was really taking off in Amazon. They loved it. That was their bread and butter. Now, I see a skew happening. And I see that they're beginning to lean towards more of the traditional publishers, mainly because Kindle's become a main traditional publisher itself. And I see how they're starting to get stricter on guidelines and how they're trying to stop anybody else like profiting from their books. And that's what it really comes down to. I'm expecting Amazon to start handing out copyright infringements to authors if they try to publish books anywhere else. That's what I see. And that's wrong, in my opinion, because that's the author's book, not yours. And it's become a frustrating time, that's for sure. But I'll keep cranking out books. And yes, I know I have to use Amazon. I got a little whack on the hand because I was trying to go with other publishers as well. I was not just beside them. And they got wind of that and gave me a little, don't you do that, and kind of punished me for a bit. So we'll see how that goes. Anyway, not the best talk I've had, but I'm telling you what's happening. And so that's what's been happening with me right now. So I've got Out of Red Part 4. It's out. It's coming out. I may do an audiobook the following year. We'll see. My audiobooks have been doing great. They've been, doing better than my regular books, which is fine. But it's costly for me to fund somebody doing it. My wife says I should do it myself, but I know I tend to do some voices and whatever, but I don't like the sound of my own voice on recordings. So, no confidence there. I should try to read out a book, maybe, and post it on here. And maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll give a few sample chapters of stuff I'm working on. And maybe that's my goal for next year, is to do more of advertising on here, advertising on YouTube, wherever I've got my things, and just try to bolster my own work. I've been getting too political, I think, and some of these I keep calling it radio shows, the podcasts. So I'll leave it like that for now. And so I just wanted to fill you in what's happening. I've pushed out another book. I'm working on still working on the full novel of Professor Dark and Miss Shadow. I have 2 other books in the process. And The Long Lost War. I am working on the prequel book. I'm trying to find time to sit and finish that one, because I know somebody's been asking if there would ever be a follow-up, and I'm like, you know what, I just want to do the follow-up as a sequel and a prequel, and just leave it at that. Because I've got far too many other books. I've got another Deep Contact book to write. I mean, I launched The Massive Planet, and I would love to pump out another Deep Contact story. Another 2 of them, actually. I'd love to get more into that. But I've got so many things on my plate, like I told you. So it's hard, because when you're a writer, you start coming with all these ideas, and then you jump from one to the other. I know, we have so little lack of focus sometimes. But anyway, that's where I'm at. And I'll try to get another update. And like I said, maybe I'll start trying to read some pages of my stuff so that you get a sense of the writing and my stories. And I guess that's why it's, I should be trying to pump that more. And like I said, it's been a learning lesson for me, because, I don't have an agent. I don't know what I'm supposed to do as a writer. I've been looking up a lot of stuff, so been doing research, that's for sure. So in the meantime, I'll just let you go for now, and I'll talk to you later. Thank you very much, and till next time.